Do this if you don't want to break into medical device sales. If you are not hired over 3 months, 2 months, and you're not hired in med device sales, you're definitely 1,000% doing something wrong. My favorite that I used to get is, hey Jacob, I see you work at Medtronic. I put you as a referral. And I said, I don't know you. And I'll make sure that you don't get the interview. If you're the person who sends out 100 messages and gets 0 responses, but there's somebody who sends out 1 message and gets 1 response, guess who's better? Okay, so what happens if I get you an interview today? And they're like, well, I guess I'll just figure it out. You know what's not happening when you're going up against 500 other people? You just figuring it out. Let me tell you why. Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and we are coming to you today right before the holidays, and it is such a fun time for us. There's a lot of exciting things here at New to Medical Device Sales. We are having a lot of great conversations with companies. We are having a lot of people get hired. Literally the last 7 people we've gotten hired, the average of them came out to be $115,000. So it has been a lot of great things here. We have really established ourselves here at New to Medical Device Sales as we are not the program just to try to get you hired. We are the program that gets people hired on average over 6 figures. We keep showing that. We just got a couple people hired way north of 150, which the best. But the one reason I wanted to come today is because you guys, right now we're getting so many applications for the program. First off, it's amazing. I love it. And I love seeing you guys do it. And I still am getting on those calls with several people just to continue to make sure that we feel like they're good fits, because now with what we've created here, companies are reaching out and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good stuff happening. The reason I'm sitting here telling you all this is because I still get on calls with people and I watch them stay not being able to break into medical device sales. I sit there and watch a lot of people who are staying stuck. And so the reality of this is, just so you guys know, is we're getting a lot of applications every single day. We are extremely selective of who we're going to even have in our program anymore. And a lot of times, I'm just going to be honest with you, a lot of people that aren't really committed, aren't really ready to go, aren't going to be good fits for us. And we're not even going to take the time to get on calls with a lot of them because, again, we need only serious people. But with that said, I still want to put stuff out there that's going to help you all. I want to put stuff out there that's only here to make a difference for you guys in your life and be able to help you break into medical device sales. Because I actually had a call with a guy today. He's actually out of North Dakota. And what I just wanted to let him know is he sat there and he told me for a year he's been trying to break in, hasn't been working, barely making ends meet. Like, he's not enjoying it. His wife's having to work more because of it. And he just wants to be able to not have her work. And the whole conversation I have with you guys is, like I had with him, I said, hey, you get off this call, you're going to go back to North Dakota where it's freezing cold. You're going to go back to barely making ends meet. You're going to go back to not being happy with where you're currently at. You're going to go back to not knowing what to do. And you've been trying for a year and you're going to keep just doing all this stuff. And I'm going to get off this call and I'm going to come back and be in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm going to go talk to medical device companies today. I'm going to go talk with people that we're helping break into medical device sales. And we're very different lifestyles, right? The reason I tell you that is not to be bragging and be like, oh, look at my life. I'm here to help you guys. I want to make a difference for you. It's why I get on a call with you and sit there and to have you guys tell me what you want out of life. And then I'm going to help you get there in life, and how we've been able to help thousands of people do that. That's what we're here for. And so I just want you guys to know that when I say all this and I get you guys here is because I want you to break into medical device sales, whether that's with me or by yourself. Just go break into medical device sales. But I want to be able to help you break into medical device sales. I want to give you the best possible tips for free to be able to help go change your life. All right. And so that's why I made today's episode. And today's episode is, do this if you don't want to break into medical device sales. And it's a little play of, if you do the opposite of these things, you break into medical device sales. But if you do these things, you're not going to break into medical device sales. And I wanted to share it because it's the most common things that I see. And it's why I see people stay stuck, stay broke, stay in the same position that they've already been in, and stay not making any money and being frustrated in their jobs, not being fulfilled, not being where they want to be. And it's what I do every single day. And I just want to be able to help you because, like I said, you're talking to the guy who had 66 bucks to his name 7 years ago. And it just kills me to watch people stay stuck. And so hopefully this can help you while you're driving, while you're working out, while you're doing your thing. And hopefully this can be just Jacob being able to help you because I actually care about you and I want the best out of your life. I don't need anything and I don't want anything from you. I just want to help you. So with all that said, let's get into do this if you don't want to break into medical device sales. So number one, if you do not want to break into medical device sales, make sure you keep sending these same messages over and over on LinkedIn with no response. Very commonly, I get on calls and someone's like, Jacob, I'm networking, I'm doing what you say, because we say to network, but I'm not getting any responses. I'm like, okay, tell me a little bit about that. And they're like, I've sent out 100 messages. And I'm like, great, how many people responded back to them? And they're like, none, or one or two. And I'm like, okay, have you thought about switching up the message? And they're like, no, I've never thought about that. And let me just help you guys with this. It's because in America, we live in a space of everybody wants to tell you how much work they do. But what if we change that to be how effective you are? Because this was my whole conversation that I've had with our team, and what we talk about in our program is if you're the person who sends out 100 messages and gets 0 responses, but there's somebody who sends out 1 message and gets 1 response, guess who's better? The person who only sent out 1 message. They saved way more time and they got a return. And so the reason I'm sitting here telling you guys this is that's a common thing I hear from people. Jacob, I've sent out 200, 400, 600 messages. I'm doing the networking. I'm hitting the pavement. I'm doing everything you say, and it just doesn't work. And it's like, and you're still sending a 6-paragraph LinkedIn message with your whole life story, and you don't even know your why, and you can't understand why somebody won't respond back to you. And you don't even put your phone number there so they can respond back to you. Now you're going to send them a message. They have to wait to respond to you and then say, yeah, give me a call or give me your number and I can call you. And then you're going to respond back instead of just putting it all in once and making their life as easy as possible. And so the reason I'm just sitting here telling you guys is you have to think out of the side of the box is if you've sent 100 messages, 200 messages, and you haven't got on the phone call with 2, 3, 4 people, you're probably sending a message that needs some tweaks. And this is what we talk about. In our program, we just help the people what to do because we've been able to do this and we get a very high response. But the reason I'm saying this is just on your guys' own is like when you're doing this for the fact of stop making a 6-paragraph message. Nobody wants to read that. Everybody wants to be straight to the point, concise. Why are you reaching out? And let's get on a call and put the information there. If you've sent that message out, maybe you need to add, hey, happy Friday. I see you went to this school and make a connection. Maybe you need to, change up the verbiage or the wording that you're using. Maybe you should add your phone number if you haven't. Maybe you should compliment them and say they've had success in the industry. Like do something else than what you're already doing, because what I watch people do, and it's absolutely hysterical, and it's a lot of even new reps in the industry or people that are even old time in the reps, and they're like, they'll be like, oh, it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, have you tried anything new? And it's like, well, no, this is how we've done it for 20 years. And it's like, well, try something new, right? ChatGPT wasn't here 4 years ago, and holy moly, that's changed a lot. Don't sit there and I watch people like, Jacob, I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm sending out the messages and I'm hitting the pavement and it doesn't work. And I'm like, did you change your message up at all? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, change it up. And that's called split testing. Have 3 different versions, send it to 10, 15, 20 different people, and then see what the different conversion is. That's how I got it to be being able to send out 10 messages and being able to get 6 of them on a call. Well, because that didn't happen on my first time. Every time, okay, I sent out 100. Okay, I got a good response or I didn't. Let me morph this. And then over time, it just morphs into a message that's going to actually help you. Going into number 2 now is if you do not want to break into medical device sales, keep coming unprepared. The amount of times I've been on calls in the last month and let me just call it out as it is. It is all my people who are former Division I athletes or former athletes, or it's my former salespeople or current salespeople. And they're always like, well, I'm just going to shoot from the hip is what they say. They literally like, oh, I'm just going to figure it out. And I'm like, do you know the difference between interviews 1, 3, 5, and 7? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, okay, so what happens if I get you an interview today? And they're like, well, I guess I'll just figure it out. You know what's not happening when you're going up against 500 other people? You just figuring it out. Let me tell you why. Because you guys think you're just going up against other people without sales experience. But for example, you go for a Medtronic, a Stryker, a Johnson & Johnson, any of those companies. Guess what happens? It's med device reps going for those jobs that want to leave their current company and want to work at a Stryker, J&J, Medtronic. So not only do you not have the experience, you're going up against people who actually have been in the industry and are okay with maybe taking an associate sales rep role at a Stryker or a Medtronic than working at a smaller med device company or a distributorship. And they've already done sales and they've already done the POs and they already know how the healthcare system works. And so the reason I'm just sitting here telling you guys is I get on calls with these people who are like, oh, I'm just going to shoot from the hip. I hope I can just figure it out. Hey, I just am going to go and get in an interview process and hopefully I can just find my way. The average med device rep makes $177,000, was going to get a car stipend, is going to get their gas paid for, is going to get the best insurance and 401k and dental and 6% match and all that stuff. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to work with surgeons and smart people and making a good living with a great work-life balance. Everyone wants that. So you have to understand, you just shooting from the hip, it's not going to get you that. You got to make sure that you're actually coming prepared. You know what you're doing. Stop just being like, hey, I'm just going to go figure it out. Which this is what leads me into number 3. Keep thinking what got you here will get you there if you don't want to break into medical device sales. And what I mean by that is everyone tells me, oh, Jacob, well, I did this for my last job. And I'm like, yeah, your last job got you a job for $50,000. Your last job got you a job for $65K where you're the only person applying. Oh, and I'm sorry, John, maybe you had another human being applying. But guess what? There's 700 people applying for these positions. It's not just you and one other person. It's you and hundreds of other people that are more qualified. And what you guys have to understand is everyone that you're going up against is normally more qualified than you. That doesn't mean you can't break in, because I say this to our team all the time. Them saying you don't have the right experience or you lost to someone with more experience is not true. And I tell you guys, and I say this to our team all the time, you know why I know it's that not true? Every position I got in medical device sales, I beat out people with 10 plus years experience when I didn't have any when I came to Medtronic, when I had under 2 when I went to Innovis. When I beat out people who were President Club winners and 10 years experience. It's not about actual experience. If you show them how to do the job, to get the job, you show that you're driven, you show that you do the things we're telling you to do, you'll get the job. But if you don't, then they're going to just be easy, oh, let me get on this out of just saying, hey, you don't have enough sales experience. You guys go there scratching your head. The managers just got off and told you something that really wasn't true or helpful, but you guys just believe it because you didn't do the actual work. And so the reason I'm just sitting here and telling you guys this is an industry like no other. There's not many other places that you can come in and in your first 2-3 years, you are going to be in the top 10% of Americans. That you are going to actually have the opportunity, because I'm living proof, my friends, of going from not even making $50K in a year to making $50K in a month off a commission check. That's fake in most industries. And this is what you're stepping into and the opportunity you have. So you have to understand, I always tell our team, when you guys are interviewing and prepping for these interview processes, you ain't going for a $50,000 job, even if the job salary says $50K. You're going for an opportunity to get in, to eventually be a rep, to eventually make $300, $400, $500 grand. So that's how you need to prepare. Even if it's an associate sales rep role, you need to prepare like it's a $400,000 job. Every single time I get on with somebody who's been struggling for all these months and weeks and years even, and I say, hey, the position was $60K, $70K, $80K. If it said $400,000, would you have prepared differently? And the answer every single time is, well, yeah, I would have been way different. And I said, and that's why you still can't get hired, because you keep treating it like it's a $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 job. When, let me just make it clear, because I always have to say this to especially nurses. Let's just say you got a job at $80,000 in medical device sales and you're making $90K as a nurse. Guess what happens? You actually make more as the med device sales rep. And people will be like, well, that doesn't make sense because there's more money. 90's more than 80, Jacob. How's that make sense? Let me help you guys, because you're going to get a way higher percent match, 6% right away. Then the bigger thing is they're going to give you a car or pay for your car stipend. So now your whole car expense, gone. Your whole gas expense, gone. Your whole insurance for your vehicle, gone. So just that is usually anywhere from a $5,000 to $12,000 swing, depending on how much you drive, what kind of vehicle you have, and the insurance that you have, right? So just from that, then there's no upward mobility, right? If you're a nurse or you do a travel nurse, you got to go work more hours and you have to do more shifts. Not as a rep, you don't have to do that. And you actually financially could make really good money, but you're going to be capped as a nurse. And so they don't see the upward trajectory with it. And so the reason I'm just sitting here and telling you, you making $65, $70K in med device sales is more than you making $80,000 at another career that doesn't give you half the stuff that you would get in med device sales. And that's what people really miss. Going into number 4, and this is my biggest one, going back to my athletes, my jocks, my people in sales that are extremely confident. I love that. And you have to be that way. I just want you guys all to know you have to be that way. But number 4, if you do not want to break into medical device sales, keep thinking you're better than you actually are. Why do I say that? Because I get on with people who've been trying, literally it just happened, who have been in sports, who have been strength coaches, who have been personal trainers, who have been all these fitness people who work with these things, and they have been very confident human beings, and I love that for them. But then what happens is they've been trying for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and they're like, well, I figured it out here on my own last time. And I'm like, great. Have you ever made $200,000 before? Well, no. Okay. So how are you going to do that? well, I guess I'll just figure it out. And it's like, you're not going to. You don't just fall into a job to make $300,000. You have to actually prepare. And I get it with all these people. It's my favorite one. I always get it with, especially my D1 athletes. I'll be like, I get you a second round interview tomorrow. What do you do with it? And they're like, well, I'll just figure it out. Goes back to shooting from the hip. Going back to, you didn't go to D1 and go to just show up and play games and crushed it. You had practices. You had to do things, right? Because just so you guys know, if you did do that, you'd be pro. So just to help everybody there. If you just came in, you're a God-gifted athlete, crushed everybody with no practice, you're pro, and you're making millions of dollars doing that. I get on conversations, and people say, I'll just do it on my own. And the reason I sit here and tell you this is why it hurts them. Athletes get trainers and strength coaches. We watch CEOs and best business people have mentors. But then you guys watch that, you agree with it, you see with it, but when it comes to your own life, you're like, well, I don't need that. But the only crazy thing is you're not the one making all the money, they are. You're the one who's trying to get here. You're the one asking people for help. You're the one who still doesn't even make a couple $100,000 right now. But you think because you got yourself something once before that you'll do it. And again, I'm somebody who's been there and helping you guys. This is why I'm trying to help you guys. You want to go take another 2, 3, 4, 5 years and still not make $200,000, which I just met someone, and we talk about this all the time. I've met people in med device sales, been in for 3 years. They don't even make $100,000. We've gotten people who have been in the program for 3 weeks at $125,000. Keep thinking you're better than you are, and you will struggle to break into medical device sales, because let me tell you why. Because that's why most reps don't even make $150,000 to $200,000 in med device sales, because they're too proud to ask for help or go get coaching from other people because they're too good. They're not even number one rep in the nation, but they're too good. And I'm just trying to help you guys because I want you to be coachable. But I watch people who literally just got on a call the other day, been trying for a year, and is like, nope, I'm still going to go try to figure it out on my own. Okay, go try it on your own. I really hope it works out. And I'll just sit here and tell you guys, I watch this play out. Every person who tells me they're so like, yes, I got to do this and all this stuff, I watch them go and they struggle for another 6, 8, 12 months. Then you can go back to the Anthony podcast where he talks about it took him 18 months to come in as an associate for $45,000 to then grind for a year in trauma, working 24/7, missing holidays, getting called at 2 a.m. And I watch those same people do that, and then they'll call me back and they'll be like, Jacob, it only took me 8 months. Overall, it took them a year and a half. They'll be like, and I broke in with this company. And I'm like, great, how much money are you making? They're like, $65K. And I'm like, great, I've almost never had anybody in our program ever take a job for that low. I just had a 23-year-old girl take a job for $125K. And the reason I say that is to all my egotistical guys is they're like, oh, I'm the best. I played D1 sports. I'm doing this. And I'm like, and I just had a 23-year-old girl with no experience kick your butt, make triple the amount of money you're making, and she'll be progressed in her career in the next 12 months than you will in 2 years. Because again, if people are coachable, they can get there. But if people are too proud and don't want to listen, you're going to stay stuck. And so I would just say that because also those same people, it's not just me, it's not just this podcast. They won't listen to other people giving them advice. They won't listen to other trainers giving them advice. They just think they're God's gift to the world and that everyone should expect to give them because of how they look or how hard they are or their past. And it's like nobody cares about your past, where you went to school, what you did, what sport you played. They care about who you are as a person and how you show up every single day right now. And so I want that to get across. Number 5, if you don't want to break into medical device sales, keep asking for handouts. My favorite message. Hey, know of any jobs? Nope, don't know you. Just so you guys know, yes, I know of jobs. I literally have 5 people reaching out to me asking us to give them our people right now for jobs. Literally by a text message, we will have them in interview processes. Of course I know firm jobs, but guess what? You're a complete stranger. I don't know if you're an absolute psychopath. I don't know if you're crazy, if I have to get a restraining order. I don't know if you're just a nice person, but I don't know you. So I'm not going to just be like, yes, here's the stuff. And let me tell you why, because everyone who comes from the victim mindset will be like, why? That's not fair to me. I want this. And it's like, I don't know you. You're a selfish human being. It's now my name that's going to be on the line. And let me just tell you, again, who cares about me? It's not about me. I'm telling you, when you reach out to every other rep, every other manager, every other person that's in med device sales, when they are going to do that, they're putting their name on the line for you. You just reaching out and saying, hey, I saw this job. Can you just put me up for it? My favorite that I used to get is, hey, Jacob, I see you work at Medtronic. I put you as a referral. And I said, I don't know you. And I'll make sure that you don't get the interview because I'll make sure that they know that I didn't refer you. That's people being entitled and being like, just because I found this, I'm just going to put your name down. That's not being respectful to somebody. That's not putting it out there. Because again, what happens, and I just said this to him, what happens when that manager calls me and says, hey, do you know this person? And I say, no idea. And they're like, that's weird. They put them down on a referral. And I'll be like, yeah, no idea who that person is. And I would definitely say, don't hire them. But again, then the people on the other end will get mad, and I'll tell you why. Because you guys are entitled. You think because you found something or did something, you should just get it. Oh, you listen to a podcast, or you know some of our coaches, and you know they work at really big med device companies, so you should just be able to put their stuff down. It's not how it works. Stop asking for handouts and go do the work and be so impressive that people want to help you. Literally just yesterday, posted about our average person gets in at over 6 figures, all this stuff, and I had somebody text me and say, hey, just lost my sales job. Can you get me a job? And it's like hysterical because I'm like, well, you just told me you lost your job in sales, which tells me you're not a good salesperson. You just then asked me for a job, which I haven't talked to you in years, which shows me you're really not emotional intelligence and you're just asking for handouts. And number 3, you're telling me you're broke, which you've been broke because I've watched this person's journey the last 6 years of their life and nothing's changed on them. And then I just had an honest conversation. I said, well, just so you know, I'm going to watch you just go take the next job. And then you're going to jump around because you've done that for the last 6 years and you don't have a plan and you're shooting from the hip and you're still going to be broke in the next 2 years. And you're never going to actually have any true skills that will make you go make money because you're jumping from offer to offer trying to do sales and you're not actually learning the skills that are needed to go actually generate revenue in any company that you're ever at. Because you're going to just try to learn the offer. You're not learning the skills that you actually need. That's just a real talk of people. Just stop asking for handouts. Actually go do the work. Go learn the skills. Go do the things. Go invest in yourself. Go get the people so you can actually go do that. Go reach out to other people. Go get on coaching calls. Go get on other people that have been in the industry. Do all the other stuff, but stop just asking and saying, hey, I see you're here. Can you just give me everything for free? Hey, you're here. Can you just put me up for this job? That doesn't go over well, my friends. Because again, the same people you're asking to do that are the same people who had to struggle and do all the stuff you're too lazy to do to get that job. And then lastly, my friends, number 6, this is my favorite one, and this is why I'm saying it to you all. Number 6, if you do not want to break into medical device sales, please keep doing the definition of insanity. If you don't know the definition of insanity, it is do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Because every single day, my team and I get on calls with people who tell me, I've been trying this for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 15 months, 24 months, 3 years. And it has not worked. And then I always make the joke, when's the last time you bought something like so much, took a video, sent to that person and told them how much you liked it. You never have. And we have hundreds and we show that. And then you watch the podcast with our people and they see it. And then we have guests like Johnny and all these top people, Omar, come onto the program and we show it to you. But many of you guys are just too scared. And that's okay. I'm not here to do it. Like everyone's on their own stuff. But I'll sit here and I just challenge you all because you all stay in the same definition of the reason you guys get on the call is you're wanting to change your reality and then you won't change your reality. You guys, many people would rather just stay in their own suck and just talk about how bad their life sucks and be like, I've been trying to break in for med device sales for 8 months and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, we do, and we can help you right now. And they're like, but I can't because of whatever excuse they want to say. Spouse, mom, parents, friends, they're too scared. Whatever you want to put in, they're all out there. But I'm just sitting here telling you, the insanity is you guys calling us and say, you've been trying for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And I just say, if you don't help work with us, and yeah, I'm not telling you to work with us. Go do your own thing. Go work with somebody else, whatever it is. But I just say, don't work with us. What changes if you don't do this? And they're like, well, nothing. I guess I'll keep doing what I've been doing. And I'm like, and you've been trying for 8 months and you don't have it, but yet you'll watch someone we get hired in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, over 6 figures. Because then they always say, well, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. And let me just help you all. If you are not hired over 3 months, 2 months, and you're not hired in med device sales, you're definitely 1,000% doing something wrong. Because if you weren't doing something wrong, you would already be hired in medical device sales. And then this is where the very proud people will be like, well, no, Jacob, there's a hiring freeze. No, Jacob, there's this. No, Jacob, there's whatever excuse you want to do. But again, we have people literally getting 3, 4, 5 job offers. So your hiring freeze is an excuse because we have 3 other companies offering. You either keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, aka insanity, which will drive you insane and then beat you down and then you feel like you can't do anything, or you actually go change something. Maybe change your messaging. Maybe change the approach that you've been taking. Maybe change your phone calls. Maybe you stop asking for jobs and maybe you start learning about them. Maybe you do something different than you've been doing And then again, going back to it, people get on these calls every single day wanting to work with us and do it. And that's why we're extremely selective and we say no to most people, is because they're always going to be a representation of us. But the reason I'm sitting here telling you guys this is because I want you guys to succeed. Like I said, you guys joining my program and joining us will never change our lives, but it will change your life. And what I sit here every single day as somebody who's come from no money, who was broke as heck, but why I get so passionate about it is, my friends, is I had less money than you right now watching this. $66 to my name at 23 years old, out of college, broke as heck. I had less money than you currently watching this right now. And I made things work. I had family members in mental hospitals. I had every excuse. I moved away, had nobody to help me. We have all of our violin moments that we can play, and you can either be the victim or you can finally just decide to get over it. You can decide to go for the path for you. You can decide to bet on you so that where you're living right now, you don't have to be. Because the last thing I'm going to say on this living insanity, every single person that I watch do this, every single time, they're like, well, I don't want to be broke. I'm scared. I don't have any money. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to not get in and all this stuff. And I'm like, you're already there. Like, let me just make your guys' life easy. If you have less than $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in your bank account, if you can't go buy a $10,000 thing, you're broke. You're already broke. So what's another couple $1,000s for you to go and change your life so you don't be broke anymore? Like, that's the thing I always laugh and I get on calls with people is they're telling me their worst case scenario when they're already in their worst case scenario. I get on calls with people, I'm living with my parents, I have no money, I don't have this stuff. And I'm like, great, but we have this opportunity, we can help you. And they're like, well, I don't want to do it, I'm going to stay stuck. And you're already in the place you just told me you didn't want to be. So there's no change that's happening. And then you guys are sitting there staying stuck and not wanting to progress when you tell me you want to progress. Because here's my whole thing. If you don't want to, stay there, chill. But stop telling people you want to make a difference, you want to change your life and do the stuff, and then don't take any actions to actually do it. Because that's the definition of insanity, and then you're just wasting other people's times. If you're going to do that, just stay in your own insanity and stay in your own time and just complain to yourself about it. Money's never the problem, because if I told you there's a Lamborghini for $5K, you all find $5K tomorrow. Real estate investors almost never have money when they get started. They go find the deal, and then they go find investors, show them the deal, then the deal gets done with the investors, and then they make a percentage, and they made their first deal, and they made their first money, and now they can go run that into other companies and run that into other deals. There's always excuses why you can't do it. But then there's the time you finally just get sick and tired and fed up with your excuses and realize your life is where it's at because of you and nobody else, even though you might have things that's happened in your life. And you finally say, hey, I can change it. And maybe that's joining a program like mine, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just getting on a different call. Maybe it's changing your messaging. Maybe it's just changing how you show up. Maybe it's showing that you are worth $400,000 instead of showing up like you're worth $30,000. I don't know what that is for you, but I just want to sit here and tell you guys why I do this is because I truly want to help you. And it's been since the first time I started this. I just want to make a difference in your life. And so just please hear me and please hear my heart. I want you to succeed in medical device sales. I want you to win. If you feel like this is helpful, please press that like and subscribe button and share it. But I'm also going to drop another video. Make sure to go check out this link here that will give you more tips and is going to help you. But just remember, you guys, I just want to keep making a difference in all of your lives. We want to keep helping you. And I want you to break into medical device sales and start living your dream life. See you on the next one. Peace.